The Spiral Abyss has only been getting worse since the launch of the game, and miHoYo doesn't seem to want to make it any funner or better. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the Genshin Impact video, and today we're going to be talking about Spiral Abyss. Now, I did this new Spiral Abyss last night on stream, and I've formulated my opinions on stream. I did a bit of a rant and a bit of a complaint, as you will. I wanted to make a video dedicated to talking about how bad the Spiral Abyss has become, and point out a few of the reasons why I believe the Spiral Abyss just sucks ass. It really is right now the only endgame in Genshin Impact, but it's also the worst endgame I've ever seen in video games to begin with. So quickly going into the Spiral Abyss, the current one, talking about just the enemies there and whatnot, and just going over why this current one sucks, and then we'll go, I'll pull a bit of information from the Genshin wiki of the other Spiral Abysses and why some of the early ones were a lot better and just more well designed. So not taking into consideration 9 and 10 because they are substantially easier than most things in the game and they never change in terms of enemies, but going into floor 11, Floor 11's not bad. Floor 11 by no means is a bad floor. You've just got a bunch of enemies here, a bunch of Hilichurls and treasure hoarders. The only bad part about this is that it's the defense, right? It's a defense. I assume they remove defense from the game permanently because it's just a terrible system because it's RNG based when if they attack it essentially. But, you know, when you actually put this in practicality, it's not a bad floor, so, you know, that's okay. Going into Chamber 2, again, another basic floor with some basic enemies, that's fine. That's fine. And then you get to the end here and you have Hydra Mimics and Ruin Cruisers, Defenders, and Scouts. Now, this is the only problem I have. The enemies here. The enemies are a bad choice. Nobody likes fighting Spectres, right? The reason? Spectres suck. Spectres are the worst enemy, or one of the worst enemies rather, in the game. Nobody likes Spectres, and there's 6 of them that have to fight. The Mimics aren't the worst thing in the world. You can just put a Hydra character, a Cryo or a Pyro character to just rinse them, but again, it's the Spectres. You have to fight 6 of them to get to the Mimics, and then you have to fight like 10 Mimics or something like that. It's something around that. I'm not exactly sure. But you have to fight way too many Spectres and then way too many Mimics. It ruins the floor. It takes you like 2 minutes or a minute, depending on your damage to deal this, and it's just kind of poorly designed. The Ruin Defenders and Cruisers and Scouts, that's fine. It's the Ruin enemies. You'll deal with them pretty quickly. But the real, just atrocious part of the Spiral Abyss always comes from floor 12, because this is where you'll be encountering level 100 enemies. Floor 12, or floor 1, sorry, will have 95, then you'll have 98, and then at the end you'll have 100. Now, the fundamental problem with this Spiral Abyss floor here is the fact that it's the Thunder Craven Wolves and the Thunder or the Rock Fond Wolves. It's just the Rift Hounds. It's the Rift Hounds. Now, when you're fighting the Rift Hounds in the open world, that is not a problem. They have pretty low HP. They have a pretty low amount of HP in the open world because they can only go up to like level 70. So, you know, they're manageable, they're deal-withable. But once you make them level 95 and you have 2 of them at the same time, things escalate. They have way too much HP for the amount of time that you're given, so you need a an absolute monster truck of damage. The movement of the Rift Hound, sorry, is just ridiculously fast. It's a problem that there was an early on problem with the Kairagi, but the Kairagi got fixed. But the Rift Hounds still seem to have that problem. The Rift Hounds moderately float and teleport around. The floating part is not actually like they're flying, but floating is a contributing factor to the annoyance, but it's also the teleporting around, and on top of that they have the bleed effect, which is the corrosion effect, which does ticking damage to everyone on your team, so even if you get hit once on one character, someone else is going to die. Now, obviously this is Spiral Abyss floor 12, so the game's assuming that you go in and prepared, but even if you do prepare, you're still going to have a tough time because, well, they're 95 Rift Hounds. Chamber 2, amazingly enough, this is not the worst chamber. Amazingly enough, this is not the worst chamber. First half, you get 2 Geo Bishops, that's it. It's like doing the Pale Flame domain, so simple as that. The second half is the Magokenki, Lone Gale, Galloping Frost, and Mask of Terror. You might think this is hard, might think this is difficult. It's actually not as bad as I think I first thought as well, mainly because the Lone Gale sits at range doing nothing, Galloping Frost is the melee one, and this guy, the Mask of Terror, just sits there throwing masks at you. When you did this the first time we ever had to fight the 3 different Magokenkis, they were all melee characters, so I think that's the difference there. They might have retweaked it. Summary, this floor or this chamber is fine. And now again, we go to Chamber 3. It's Chamber 1, but just higher level and a few more enemies. Terrible. So the first one here, Thunder Craven Rift Hound with Ruin Cruisers and Defenders, it's slightly better than the second half, where in the second half there's the Rock Fond, and he has the Geo Aura, which is the worst aura in the game, because, well, who loves getting restricted with an area, and then the enemy stands in that area, so you just can't attack them? I literally, just thinking about it breaks my mind. So literally, all of floor 12 is pretty bad except for Chamber 2, but still, I hate all of Floor 12 right now and haven't liked doing Spiral Abyss for like the past 4 or 5 patches, really. So now, for those who want to see a bit more information and whatnot, you can go to the Genshin Impact wiki and you can look up the Spiral Abyss past floors. Now, this is something you can do, and you can see just how much funner, more enjoyable the goddamn Spiral Abysses were before. Now, if we go one Spiral Abyss before, it's not that amazing. You know, it starts off with floor 11. You have a bunch of cool stuff. But once you get to certain floors, you have bosses. This part of the Spiral Abyss was not enjoyable, but let's backtrack before Inazuma, because for those who remember, the first Spiral Abyss was the worst Spiral Abyss for Inazuma because it had a particular boss in it. Now, I believe I've clicked on the wrong one. The second Spiral Abyss, pardon me, it is the second Spiral Abyss of Inazuma, the September one, whenever that is, 2021, 09, 16. This probably was the worst Spiral Abyss, and I feel like this one was like the pinnacle of the downfall of the Spiral Abyss, because it had the Magukenki on, this is on floor 12, this is floor 12 obviously, so you had Spectres, an Eye of the Storm, and a Stonehide Lawachel, Chamber 1, second half. First of all, the Eye of the Storm is not an enemy anymore, you fight one of them per year, that's it. Spectres, garbage. Second chamber had a Magukenki at level 98, that's not cool, and then the second half had Mirror Maidens and Fatui Chrysos and Mages. The Mirror Maiden has the same HP as the Magukenki, but okay, sure, you deal with that within a timely manner because you have so much damage. Then you jump over to the third chamber, and then you have 2 Ruin Guards and then a Perpetual Mechanical Array in the second half. Now, for those who don't know, the Perpetual Mechanical Array had about 4 million HP and had about 30 seconds of downtime where you're not dealing damage to the boss. Now, I am no mathematical genius, but when you have so much downtime in your fight, but for the fight, you literally only have 3 minutes to kill the boss, 3 minutes to kill, 2 Ruin Guards and a boss. You don't have time to spare, and that's the problem. Like, a lot of the stuff they're adding now is like just elongating the fight without any reason, no difficulty, because fighting the Rift Hounds is not difficult, it's just time consuming. So when you're subtracting difficulty just for adding time consumption, that's not a good system. Now, if we jump back to this list of past Spiral Abysses, let's not jump to the first one because the first one was, I'd say, substantially easier. Let's go to the January 1st, 2021 to February 2021 Spiral Abyss. Let's see what this one was all about. Floor 9 just has some slimes, Hilichurls, and Tui stuff, Cryo Abyss stuff. Chamber 10, again, some Hilichurl stuff, Treasure Hoarders, and then a few of these guys here. Floor 11, just some Fatui and Hilichurls and Treasure Hoarders. Wow, so easy. So easy. And then floor 12 here has, obviously it has the Eye of the Storm and the Ruin Guard here. Okay, the introduction of a few cool new enemies. And then generally after that, you just have some Hilichurls, some Treasure Hoarders, some Fatui Mages, some Pyro Agents. This was the pinnacle of the Spiral Abyss. You ask anyone who did the old Spiral Abyss and anyone who's done the new Spiral Abyss, they will beg for the old one. They will beg for the old one because it's just like, it's not that it's easier enemies, but the enemy cohesiveness made sense. And right now, we're just getting random enemies, random strong enemies just chucked in willy-nilly, like just for the fun of it, just for the making of difficulty, right? And there's no exponential increase in difficulty in the current Spiral Abyss. Like, if you look at floor 12 here, you start off with some Hilichurls, Ruin Guards, and an Eye of the Storm, generally easy enemies. Then you move on to Treasure Hoarders and a Pyro Agent. Pyro Agents are usually considered a bit difficult. And then on to the last one, you get a Fatui Sosa Mage, Hilichurls, and a Pyro Agent. The exponential increase in difficulty is there for the old Spiral Abysses. In the newer ones, it's almost like an instant increase. I don't even know the mathematical term for it, but it's just an instant increase in difficulty without any warning or any kind of actual kind of gradient gradual rise. It's all just instant difficulty and it's annoying. Now, I just want to make this video outlining that because this new Spiral Abyss is just generally atrocious in my opinion, and they have been really bad since the release of Inazuma. I just want to make this small video outlining a few of the problems. Obviously, you guys can disagree. It is a thing that you can do. Disagree in the comments if you want, because, well, I kind of want to hear for people who enjoyed the current Spiral Abyss Also, if you don't enjoy the current Spiral Abyss, just tell me what kind of Spiral Abyss you enjoyed the most out of Genshin's whole history of Spiral Abyss. But for now, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, like the video. As well, consider subscribing. We did hit 400 subscribers. I really love and appreciate everyone who subscribed. Big thank you to everyone who's also enjoying the reaction video to Albedo, killing Albedo. Much love to everyone who's subbing and liking that video. And don't forget, also ring that bell to stay notified of when I upload, and also go live. I'll be live later tonight streaming some more Genshin Impact, spending resin on artifacts and selling my soul to this game. But till then, guys, stay hydrated, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.